United States history. Around 1900 AD. Part 4. Louisiana. 1975. Louisiana Superdome completed. Nebraska. 1975. Omaha's school busing crisis erupted over desegregation. New York. 1975. New York City faces near bankruptcy but rebounds through financial restructuring. Washington. 1975. Bill Gates co-founds Microsoft in Washington. Colorado. 1976. Colorado voters reject hosting the Winter Olympics due to environmental concerns. Hawaii. 1976. Polynesian voyaging canoe sails to Tahiti, reviving traditional navigation. Idaho. 1976. Teton Dam collapse kills 14 and causes $1 billion in damage. Missouri. 1976. Extermination order against Mormons rescinded. New Jersey. 1976. Meadowlands Sports Complex debuts. Nevada. And Texas. 1976. Howard Hughes, industrialist, aviator, billionaire who legitimized Las Vegas casinos, passes away. Alaska. 1977. Trans-Alaska Pipeline, TAPS, completed. 800-mile pipeline from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez begins operation. Indiana. 1977. Elvis Presley gave his last performance in Indianapolis. Mississippi. 1977. Elvis Presley, king of rock and roll, born in Tupelo, passes away. New Jersey. 1977. Alice Paul, Mount Laurel suffragist who fought for the 19th Amendment, passes away. West Virginia. 1977. New River Gorge Bridge completed. Georgia. 1977 to 1981. Jimmy Carter, Georgia governor, becomes 39th U.S. president. Hawaii. 1978. State constitution amended to recognize Hawaiian as an official language. Hawaii. 1979. Edith Kanekali, hula legend, cultural preserver, passes away. Minnesota. 1979. Peggy Flanagan, lieutenant governor and White Earth Ojibwe activist, was born. Pennsylvania. 1979. 3 Mile Island nuclear accident near Harrisburg. District of Columbia. 1979 to 1991. Marion Barry elected mayor. California. 1970s. Silicon Valley rose with companies like Apple and Intel, driven by innovators like Steve Jobs. Iowa. 1970s. The farm economy began declining due to industrialization and global competition. New Hampshire. 1970s to 1980s. Back to the Land movement, hippies and homesteaders, inspired by Helen and Scott Nearing's book Living the Good Life, migrate to rural New Hampshire and Vermont. Alaska. 1980. Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act, ANILCA, protects over 100 million acres of federal land, creating national parks, e.g., Denali, Gates of the Arctic. Florida. 1980. Miami riots. Idaho. 1980. River of No Return Wilderness designated. South Dakota. 1980. U.S. v. Sioux Nation ruled Black Hills were stolen. Sioux refused cash settlement. Land not returned. Washington. 1980. Mount St. Helens erupts, killing 57. Arizona. 1981. Sandra Day O'Connor, raised on an Arizona ranch, became the first female U.S. Supreme Court justice. Connecticut, 1981. Thurman Milner became the first African-American mayor of a New England city, Hartford. Minnesota, 1982. The Mall of America breaks ground in Bloomington. Tennessee, 1982. Knoxville hosts World's Fair featuring Sunsphere. Kentucky, 1983. Martha Lane Collins becomes Kentucky's first female governor. New Hampshire, 1983. Scott Nearing, pioneer of sustainable living, passes away. Oregon, 1983. Tom McCall, governor who championed environmentalism, passes away. Idaho, 1984. Frank Church, U.S. Senator, chaired Foreign Relations Committee, passes away. Indiana, 1984. Indianapolis Colts relocate from Baltimore. Alabama, 1986. Guy Hunt became first Republican governor since Reconstruction. Iowa, 1986. Iowa State University launched initiatives like the Program for Women in Science and Engineering. Louisiana, 1986. Oil bust caused economic downturn. North Carolina, 1986. Ella Baker, civil rights leader from Norfolk, Virginia, who worked in North Carolina, passes away. Massachusetts, 1987. Big Dig highway construction project begins in Boston. North Dakota, 1987. Farm crisis peaks with record bankruptcies. Wyoming, 1988. Yellowstone wildfires burn over 1 million acres. Alaska, March 24, 1989. Exxon Valdez oil spill. Tanker spills 11 million gallons of crude oil, causing ecological disaster. Nevada, 1989. Mirage Resort opened, heralding the era of mega-casinos. South Carolina, 1989. Hurricane Hugo causes $7 billion in damage, the state's costliest natural disaster. Iowa, 1980s. The farm crisis led to widespread foreclosures and suicides, documented in Pamela Riney-Kerberg's research. Montana, 1980s. Anaconda copper declined. New Hampshire, 1980s. Nostalgic New Hampshire culture thrives with landmarks like Happy Wheels, Newington, and Al Caprillion, the beloved weatherman. Oregon, 1980s. The Rajneeshpuram cult scandal and Oregon lottery launch. Hawaii, 1980s to 1990s. Sovereignty movement grows. Wisconsin, 1980s to 1990s. Tribal gaming expands. Native leaders like Ho-Chunk's Randy Cadot boost economic development. New Mexico, 1980s to 2000s. Authors Tony Hillerman and Rudolfo Anaya gained fame for works featuring New Mexican landscapes and cultures. West Virginia, 1980s to 2020s. Shift to tourism and natural gas. Missouri, 1980s to present. Economic shifts toward healthcare, e.g., BJC Healthcare, and tech, e.g., CERN. Virginia, 1990. Douglas Wilder becomes first elected African-American governor. District of Columbia, 1990. D.C. statehood movement gains traction, first congressional hearing. Kansas, 1991. Wichita abortion protests, Summer of Mercy, drew national attention. Montana, 1991. Little Bighorn Battlefield renamed from Custer Battlefield. District of Columbia, 1991. Eleanor Holmes Norton, deceased non-voting congresswoman, took office. Arkansas, 1992, Bill Clinton, former governor, became the 42nd U.S. president. California. 1992, Los Angeles riots. Minnesota. 1992, the Mall of America opens. North Dakota. 1992, Eric Sevareid, CBS News commentator from Velva, passes away. Alabama. 1993, Mercedes-Benz announced first U.S. plant in Vance, sparking automotive industry growth. Arizona. And California. 1993, Cesar Chavez, labor leader born in Yuma, co-founded the United Farm Workers, passes away. Connecticut. 1993, the Mashantucket Pequot opened Foxwoods Resort Casino, the largest casino in the Western Hemisphere. Connecticut. 1993, Connecticut implemented its first income tax. Hawaii. 1993, Apology Resolution, U.S. admits role in overthrow of the monarchy. Maryland. 1993, Thurgood Marshall, first black U.S. Supreme Court Justice, from Baltimore, passes away. Arkansas. 1994, the University of Arkansas men's basketball team won the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, championship. California. 1994, the Northridge earthquake, 6.7 magnitude, caused $20 billion in damage. Oklahoma. April 19, 1995, Oklahoma City bombing killed 168, memorial established. New Hampshire. 1995, Helen Nearing, pioneer of sustainable living, passes away. Ohio. 1995, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opens in Cleveland. District of Columbia. 1995, Financial Control Board takes over D.C. due to bankruptcy. Georgia. 1996, Atlanta hosts the Summer Olympics, showcasing global prominence. Minnesota. 1998, Jesse Ventura, Reform Party, is elected governor. New Hampshire. 1998, Alan Shepard, astronaut, first American in space, passes away. Wyoming. 1998, Matthew Shepard's murder in Laramie sparks national hate crime legislation. Florida. 1998, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, Everglades advocate, passes away. Arkansas. 1999, Daisy Bates, civil rights leader who mentored the Little Rock Nine, passes away. Colorado. 1999, Columbine High School shooting shocks the nation. Maine. 1999, Stephen King, iconic author, nearly killed in car accident. Idaho. 1990s, tech and tourism grow, population surpasses 1 million. Iowa. 1990s, economic diversification into finance and technology reduced reliance on agriculture. Oregon. 1990s, timber industry declines, tech and tourism rise. Washington. 1990s, tech boom, Microsoft, Amazon, transforms the economy. Connecticut. Early 1900s, Connecticut continued innovating. District of Columbia. Early 1900s, segregation and activism. Delaware. Early 1900s, Delaware became a corporate haven due to business-friendly laws. Missouri. Early 1900s, industrialization boomed in Kansas City and St. Louis. Anheuser-Busch became a brewing giant. Key figure, Joseph Pulitzer, St. Louis newspaper magnate. Pennsylvania. Early 1900s, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh dominated manufacturing, textiles, steel, ships. Wisconsin. Early 1900s. Governor Robert La Follette leads progressive reforms, workers' compensation, income tax. North Carolina. 1900s. Jim Crow laws enforce segregation. The state's economy shifts to textiles, tobacco, and furniture. Utah. 1900s. Mining boomed. Copper, silver, coal, with figures like Daniel C. Jackling revolutionizing copper extraction. Oklahoma. 1900s to 1930s. Oil boom made Oklahoma a top producer.